psychology, music therapy, music and social identity, music and religion, spiritual values and counseling, Islamic psychology and art therapies. She's a student of Professor Dr. Oruç Güvenç, who is the founder of Tumata in music therapy. And in addition to her academic training, she has gone to the different institutions and studied privately with a number of musicians about Turkish classical music throughout the Turkey and Ottoman Empire. Dr. Ayse has over 10 years experience as a clinical psychologist working with individuals, couples, and youths in a variety of settings. She got Islamic counseling education from Professor Malik Bedri at the IAIP, International Islamic Psychology Association. She's also trained in different methods of therapy, including schema therapy, cognitive behavior therapy, EMDR, Gottman's method of couples therapy, and psychodrama. And we're also honored to have her as one of our advisory board member in ISIP's Turkish chapter and also internationally as well. And we're actually conducting a halaqa with Dr. Ayse as part of ISIP's Turkish chapter, which I really recommend you guys to join. So there's a lot of things that are going on, inshallah. Please, dear brothers and sisters, leave us your feedback with regards to our lectures, and we will also share the feedback from in the Zoom chat throughout the session. And please forgive us for any shortcomings. Make dua for us. And without any further ado, I will stop sharing my screen, inshallah. And I will now just highlight Dr. Ayse. Just give me 1 second. And let me just find Dr. Ayse here. Dr. Ayse. There you are. Let me see. There you are. Alhamdulillah. Let me just replace the pin. So without any further ado, dear Dr. Ayse, the floor is yours. Most welcome, and we're looking forward to learn from your experience and knowledge with regards to the Darul Shifas of Ottoman Empire and specifically in Suleymaniye. Welcome.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. It's really such an honor to meet all of you from all different parts of the world. It has been my first experience for ISIP conferences. We had several ones, but only for ISIP Turkey chapter. All of you are more than welcome to Istanbul and visit Süleymaniye Darul Shifa in real, inshallah. But before your real visit, I just want you to briefly introduce you to Süleymaniye Darul Shifa and the mental health services which are held in the Süleymaniye Darul Shifa. Let me share my screen first, all of you. It's really such nice to see all of you. Thank you for attending this conference. Okay. Can you see my screen well?
Yes,
Yes.
Ayse, we can see your screen. Please go ahead.
Full screen, right?
Yes, it's full screen. It looks
Okay.
excellent.
As you can see in the picture, this is whole Süleymaniye Kulliya, which is a very big complex indeed. And the center is, of course, as you all know, the Süleymaniye Mosque, which is one of my favorite mosques, by the way, in Turkey, in Istanbul. It will be such an honor for me to visit any of you come to Turkey. Please give me a call, and I really will lead you to visit Süleymaniye complex with me if I have chance. I really would like to meet all of you. And I want to, I don't want to explain all the Süleymaniye complex today because it's very big and it will not be enough to explain whole complex in just 1 hour. So today I'm just going to introduce you the Süleymaniye Darul Shifa part, which is the only one part of the whole complex. And when you come to the Süleymaniye Külliye in Istanbul, you can see the Dar al Shifa. This is a Tiryakiler Pazar in the picture. As you can see, there are shops near each other, and there are also several restaurants here. And if you would like to see the Dar al Shifa in real, you have to just across to the Tiryakiler Pazar. As you can see in the picture, this is the Dar al Shifa, and the yellow part is Tiryakiler Pazar, as I showed you in the picture. And Evliya Çelebi mentioned in his very well-known travelogue, he says that Sultan Süleymaniye Külliye has 4 madrasas on its site, and the words are not enough to praise it, which has a house for teaching Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam Muhammad's deeds, hadith, which is called Dar al-Hadith, a house for Quran education, which is called Dar al-Qura, another medical school, which is called Dar al-Tib, which is just next to the Tiryakiler Pazar, in front of the Darul Shifa. And kitchen for poors, imaret, a soup kitchen, Dar al Diyafa, and psychiatric hospital, which is called Bimarhane, which is inside of the Dar al Shifa, by the way, and several bathhouses we called hammam in Turkish, and its guest house, Mihmanhane, its stable, we call istabl anteri in Ottoman language, shelter for poors, which is called Tabahane, its primary school, which is called Sıbyan Mektep, and other places within the Vakıf, we say imarets. They are all funded by the endowment, charity-based organization. So, as you can see, as Evliya Çelebi mentioned in his travelogue, Süleymaniye complex is a very big complex and it has multiple parts. But today we will just discover the Dar al Shifa part altogether. If you want to study about the Şifahanes, Bimarhanes, Maristans, or Dar al Shifas in Turkey, especially in the Ottoman era, each of them has their own Waqfiyah. What is Waqfiyah? Waqfiyah is a document of working principles, structures, employees, and salaries are written, and all of these Waqfiyahs are written by the emperor of the Ottoman Empire. I mean, the emperor is not writing the Waqfiyah. Someone else is writing the Waqfiyah, of course, but they are signing. So each Dar al Shifa has its own Waqfiyah. And these documents are very detailed books. As you can see, the first page of the Süleymaniye Vakfıya on the screen now. As you can see, it starts with the dua, like Alhamdulillahilladhi. It continues like this. There are many hadiths and also the ayah in the Vakfıya, as well as the rules and the wages and the structures and the any of the things related with the complexes are written in the Vakfiyas. I also studied the Süleymaniye Waqfiyah to explain the features of the Süleymaniye Dar al Shifa. Süleymaniye Waqfiyah is written down by Kazasker Hamid, which consists of 105 sheets, 210 pages. 210 pages, like a book. And 11 single sheets. It consists of 6 subparts each vakfiya, and this vakfiya consists of 6 subparts. The foreword, which is called Mukaddime, signature of the Sultan Süleyman, we call Tugra in Ottoman language, evidence of the confirmation, we call Tasdik al-Hujjat, and evidence, probable causes and details of kulliya, mujib sebeb and teferruat, called in Ottoman language, endowed properties and principles of wakf or endowment. So as you can see, it's a detailed version and it's like a book. And the Süleymaniye Dar al Shifa is mentioned on the pages of 59, 86, 87, and 88 of pages of Waqfiyah document of Süleymaniye Waqfiyah. And the original copy is still available when you visit to Turkey or any libraries. You can go to Republic of Turkey General Directory of Foundations Archives. You will be able to reach out the original version of this Süleymaniye Waqfiyah as well if you would like to examine the original version. When you look at the main purpose of establishing Süleymaniye Kulliyah, we firstly see that the Quranic verses used on the 9th page of Süleymaniye Waqfiyah, which suggests that the fundamental purpose of this complex, Süleymaniye complex, is to answer the call of Islam, to behave good to people, to lead Muslims in this regard, to provide services to the public, to do good deeds, and to earn Allah's approval with the thought of giving thanks to blessings which are already given by Allah. So, different resources says that the Fatih Dar al Shifa was weakening. That's why the Süleymaniye Dar al Shifa is established, which is not strong information because during the classical period, I'm going to mention in a couple of minutes, the Ottoman Empire was expanding. So there was a need for new Dar al Shifa, new hospital, and new madrasas as well. That's why the Süleymaniye complex was deemed to appropriate And then the Sultan Süleyman the Magnificent decided to build the Süleymaniye complex. And this Waqfiyah, there is also one hadith really would like to recite for all of you and to grab your attention to this hadith. In the Waqfiyah, it's written that the Prophet ﷺ's hadith says the seek the treatment for Allah has not created a disease without creating its cure, except for one ailment is mentioned, which indicates the praise for medicine already in the Süleymaniye Waqfiyah and also by the emperor of the Ottoman Empire as well. I want to give you a little historical background. Although it's a very, detailed version of knowledge, I really summarize it. If I have more time, I will give you more information. If you would like to have more detailed info, please contact with me. As briefly, the construction of Süleymaniye Darul Shifa is finished on 1557, which is, the whole complex took 9 years to complete, Süleymaniye Kulliyah. And the original endowment date shows that it is finished on the 1557. And the inscription on the main gate of the Süleymaniye Mosque, when you go to Süleymaniye Mosque, you will see the inscription on the gate of the Süleymaniye Mosque. It says that all structures of the Süleymaniye complex took approximately 9 years. It's already written. When you come to the Süleymaniye Mosque, you can see the inscription on the gate. And Süleymaniye Darul Shifa was established in the period which is the peak of the Ottoman Empire's power. We call classical period of Ottoman Empire, which is between 1481 to 1566. So during this period, there were crucial expansions socially, politically, and economically. So as a result of intensified military expeditions during this period, there was an increased need for doctors, surgeons, and pharmacists within the army, which is leading to the establishment of a medical madrasa we call Darul Tip, and adjacent to the mosque in the complex. And Darul Shifa is together with the Darul Tip. And Darul Shifa is serving as a practical area for medical students, which are next to each other in the complex. And also Sultan Süleyman the Magnificent, we call Kanuni in Turkish, transformed the former Byzantine city of Constantinople into the Istanbul and re-established Istanbul as a prominent center for powerful Turkish and Islamic empire. That's why, in response to the emerging needs of expanding state, Sultan Süleyman commissioned this Süleymaniye complex to the public, and he says it is stated on the 12th page of Süleymaniye Vakfıya that these structures endowed to the Ottoman education, culture, health, and social life. So this is also very important because the Sultan Süleyman really focuses on the health too much, and he writes all the also poems, and he is very keen on and focusing on about health practices in Ottoman era as well. And the centralization concept is also very important because when the Sultan Mehmet, the Fatih Sultan Mehmet conquered Istanbul, Istanbul became a capital center of the Ottoman Empire. That's why conquest lead to the centralization. That's why Istanbul has a crucial space in the empire, and all Darul Shifas, all buildings have built in Istanbul because of that. And Süleymaniye Darul Shifa as a medical institution, later it is called Bimaristan, where psychiatric patients reside, exemplifies the Ottoman Empire's commitment to public health and medicine. During the 16th century, the second part of the Darul Shifa I will mention now. It's very, by the way, expensive to go to hospitals in that century. However, the Ottoman Empire really had focusing on these health institutions, and really funded doctors to get education in these medical madrasas as well. And when we look at the second period of Dar al-Shifa, which is after the Tanzimat Edict, Bezmale Valide Sultan Dar al-Shifa, which is another Dar al-Shifa, in 1847 is established, and then all of the patients are evacuated to Bezmi Alem Valide Sultan. Only the psychiatric patients has stated at Süleymaniye Dar al-Shifa after the establishment of Bezmi Alem Valide Sultan Dar al-Shifa. When we come to mid 19th century, another Dar al-Shifa, which is called Haseki Dar al-Shifa, which is originally designated only for female patients. And then the female psychiatric patients moved to the Haseki Dar al-Shifa. And then the Süleymaniye Dar al-Shifa only reserved for the male psychiatric patients after the mid of 19th century. And in the 1850, the cholera epidemic occurred in Istanbul. That's why all of the male psychiatry patients at Süleymaniye Dar al-Shifa transferred to Üsküdar Toptaşı Hospital. And then after the cholera epidemic, the Dar al-Shifa has returned to the military press house till the 1972. Since then, Imaret building has served as a soup kitchen after military press house. And then when the Republic of Turkey is established, it has turned to the gynecology and obstetric hospital in between 1927 to 2009, as you can see. Now it's under the construction. It's going to be opened. It's going to serve again as a health center. I mean, Dar al-Shifa part. The Imaret part is going to serve as a institution for Waqfiyah or something else. It's going to be a museum, I think. So it's going to be opened very soon. I strongly suggest you to visit in real as well. Okay. After this brief introduction of history, I want you to introduce the parts of Dar al-Shifa. As you can see in the picture, Dar al-Shifa has two main parts, as you can see. And each two main parts are also divided into six subparts. And one of the subparts is the section for management and health personnel. And the second subpart, which are domed rooms, as you can see in the picture, domed rooms for patients behind the porticos of the second courtyard, this part. And the Asabiya service, which is only for the mentally ill patients, which is different from the other patients' parts. And the fourth part, which is called pantry and the kitchen for Al Dar al Shifa, as you can see in the map, this is for staff and the patients. And there is also space for pharmacy and drug, which is called Dar al Akakir. And as a last part, which is the bakery of Fodla, which is for Dar al Shifa staff and patients. And one of the distinct features of the Süleymaniye Dar al Shifa, I want you to mention a little more about the Fodlas, because this Fodla, I mean, this is the current situation of Fodla Bakery of Dar al Shifa in this picture, as you can see on the screen. This place specifically bakes a type of pastry which is called fodla, served only here at Dar al Shifa for the patients as well as for the homeless and the poor ones. Anybody can come here and get fodla for themselves. This is also the social service department of the Dar al Shifa, as we can say. In Ottoman Empire, the complexes, the endowments, are designed for the serve for everybody, for public health as well. And the seventh part, which is the corner of the Süleymaniye Dar al Shifa, a separate bath area, which is called hammam, we call. It highlights the favorable location. It really has architectural beauty, as you can see on the picture, and it is still open and can be used today. You can go there and have a bath as well. which is very good. And the Chalabi, who wrote the Waqfiyah of Süleymaniye, metaphorically compares the bathhouse of Süleymaniye's luminosity to sunlight and praises its spacious chambers and cheerful lounges. The flooring, he notes, is adorned with the finest marble, and its treasuries are filled with jewels symbolically linked to concepts of eternal life and paradise. The bathhouse, according to Chalabi, embodies a joyful space with its fountain reminiscent of the sacred Zamzam water, evoking feelings of happiness and contentment for the patients. So this is also one of the distinct features of Şifahanes or Darul Shifas in Turkey. And when we look at the facilities and the care team of the Süleymaniye Waqfiyah, this is also written in the Süleymaniye Waqfiyah, by the way, you can see the daily income of each personnel and their annual income of personnel, which are all of them written one by one in the Süleymaniye Waqfiyah. As you can see, there was a lead physician, Tabib al-Awwal, co-lead physician, Tabib al-Sani, tertiary physician, Tabib al-Salis, and the first ophthalmologist, second ophthalmologist, surgeons, pharmacists, drugstore keepers, and other staff members. As you can see, there are, chef, tabbah al kitchen, janitors, sweepers, toilet cleaners, laundry services, hairdressers, plus there are also mentors for mentally ill patients to mentor them, to assist their social life, to keep their moral up. So this is a very detailed structure, as you can see, and which are all written in the Süleymaniye Waqfiyah as well. You can read on that. And when we look at the expected qualifications of physicians at Süleymaniye Darul Shifa, which is also written in the Waqfiyah pages between 139 and 140. So the physicians should encompass a diverse range of competencies and expertise, as you can see on the screen. Firstly, they are required to possess extensive experience, mastery, they call mujarrab, and specialized knowledge to effectively manage cases within their field. Secondly, a profound understanding of medical laws, wisdom is essential, spanning both theoretical foundations and practical applications, enabling precise application in clinical practice. Third, an in-depth comprehension of human temperament, disposition, character, and the nature is imperative. Physicians are tasked with tailoring treatment strategies that align with these individual characteristics, ensuring personalized and effective care. As you can see, there is a patient-centered approach which considers characteristics of their patients as well. So this is person-centered approach, as you can see. Additionally, they have to have a comprehensive grasp of pharmaceutical methods and encompassing the assessment of medication suitability, including syrups, paste relative to patient's temperament, and awareness of potential side effects as well. Finally, physicians undertake crucial roles for accurate diagnosis, timely intervention, acute disease progression observation, underscoring their pivotal contribution to promoting health and well-being. So, apart from their medical expertise, they have to have some personal qualities like compassion, kindness, genuine empathy toward their patients, which are offering moral support. Furthermore, doctors are expected to possess personal qualities such as intelligence, learning aptitude, comprehension, intuitive ability, technical proficiency, exemplary moral conduct. As you can see, all of the characteristics of the physicians which are expected written in the Süleymaniye Waqfiyah. This shows that professors really have important role in the medical school, because the physicians are also, some of them physicians are medical professors at Darul Tip, which is called medical madrasa. In addition to all education and all personal characteristics, which is the very distinct feature of the Süleymaniye Darul Shifa, the head of the medical school, Tabib al-Awwal, the head of the medical school, is responsible to check each day the needs of soup kitchen, which distributes food to people in need every month. I mean, apart from the patients, just for publicly, they are responsible to control the kitchen every month and identify any deficiencies in their needs. This shows that professors really have an important role, not only in educating students, but also in social assistance and social services. And also, I want you to give one more information about the about the professors, medical professors at Ottoman Empire. They could become the we call kadı. They could be part of the judiciary department of the Ottoman Empire. So they have such responsibilities in medical madrasas within the complexes to educate them to be judiciary part of the empire as well. As you can see, they are educated at the same time. They also provide services for the public health, not only for the patients, which also shows the holistic approach of the Ottoman healthcare system as well. When we focus on the psychiatric care features of Süleymaniye Darul Shifa, as you can see, Celalzade Mustafa Çelebi's work, which is called Tabakat el-Memalik and Derajat el-Mesalik, which is written on the 1567, he indicates that they serve in medicine. I mean, he indicates the Süleymaniye Darul Shifa as it follows. They serve in medicine extraordinarily, having attained great skill in all sciences. They take pulse, diagnose diseases, and cure ailments according to the temperament, offering remedies tailored to each temperament of the patient. As you can see, also one of the other documents, I mean, the historical documents, which shows also the psychiatric care in the Süleymaniye Darul Shifa. And at Süleymaniye Darul Shifa, physicians were following a manual which is called Zahiri Muradiye, which belongs to Mumin Mukbilzades. And illnesses were studied under three parts in this manuscript, which are esbab, which are reasons, symptoms, alamat, and the treatment, ilaç. This manuscript includes three subparts to treat different illnesses of psychiatric patients, and they were following patient-centered approach, which is considering individuals' temperaments in their approach to treatment rather than merely focusing on the illness itself, which is also very important. The modern sciences or the modern, let's say, medicine focuses only the illness or the sick part of their patients. But when you look at the Ottoman medicine approach, they are not only focusing the ill part of their patients, they also focus on their patients' temperaments, which is also which really plays a crucial role to preventing illnesses when we give them their treatments according to their temperaments as well, which gives lifestyle also, tailoring to their temperaments as well, which is also one of the distinct features of the Ottoman health approach. When we look at the 19th century, which is the second part of Dar al-Shifa, as I said in the beginning, after the 1839, the Tanzimat Edict occurred in Ottoman Empire. It its aftermath marked not only political but also intellectual transformations, with medicine, among all other fields, undergoing significant changes in Ottoman Empire. In 1851, a rise in the number of mental health patients during that period. So, temporary additional staff were employed at the Bimarhane, I mean the Süleyman Bimarhane, because of the rise of the mental health patients. And during this period, also, the European doctors, renowned for their medical expertise, endeavored to address the medical void within the Ottoman Empire, and the Manjari is also one of them who come to the Süleymaniye Bimarhane and become a chief physician of Süleymaniye Bimarhane. As you can see on the screen, Manjari wrote petition to the emperor, and they and he wanted to emperor to make the facilities of Darul Shifa better for mentally ill patients as well. And when we look at the education system of the Süleymaniye Darul Shifa, which is the entrance door of the Süleymaniye Medical Medrese, you can see today. This is the current situation of the entrance door of the Süleymaniye Darul Tıp Medical Medrese. I mean, Darul Tıp and the Darul Shifa, they are next to each other. And the Sultan Süleyman the Magnificent, we call Kanuni in Turkish, wrote using the pen name as Muhibbi. He wrote that the people think that there is nothing like wealth and power, but in this world, the best state is good health. What people call power is just struggle and war, but in this world, the best throne and the greatest state is union with the divine. So I wrote also the Turkish version, Ottoman Turkish version of this statement on the screen. So as you can see, Sultan Süleyman the Magnificent really keen on um, to um, to protect health services, and he is really focusing on the health services, and he is really have so much afford to medical professors to get educations and to have more doctors, because he thinks that the health is the most important thing in our life. But not only the physical health, he also says the union, I mean the holistic approach to health, which also includes the spiritual part of us as well. And the practical education of the medical madrasa is applied at Darul Shifa. I mean, the Shifahane, or the cure house, or however you can call. At Darul Shifas, there were mentorships, which are called Muid mentors, and Danishmans, which are medicine students. Danishmans were mentoring the medicine students. Muids are the mentors who are mentoring the patients at Dar al Shifa as well, which is also the practical part of the clinical education of Süleymaniye Medical Medrese. When we look at the curriculum of the Dar al Tıp School of Medicine, there are 66 books encompassing the curriculum of Dar al Tıp School of Medicine. There were, I mean, 66 books. I didn't write all of them, but among these, the most well-known and those that continued to be taught in European medicine, as you all know, for years, Ibn Sina's Canon of the Medicine and its 18 commentaries, Ibn al-Baytar's Compendium on Simple Drugs and Foods, Razi's The Comprehensive Book, and Al-Mansuri Fit Tıp, as you can see on the screen at the left side, and Ibn al-Nafis's commentary on the Canon, Zahravi's Kitab al-Tasrif, which is called the Comprehensive Book on Medicine. And apart from medical education, medical students also studied disciplines such as Arabic grammar, exegesis, tafsir, and jurisprudence, usul al-fiqh, alongside medicine, and also took course which is called Adab al-Tabib, which focuses on the behavior and psychological approach displayed by physicians towards their patients. As you can see, they have professional education in medicine, in also religious sciences, plus ethical side. So they were holistically educated at School of Medicine. And when we look at the expected qualifications for professors, which is also written in the 86th and the 87th pages of Süleymaniye Waqfiyah document, there were specific qualifications are outlined for the professors, which are, I mean, the professors were expected to be endowed with a sound intellect and sensory organs, knowledgeable in intricacies of logic, well versed in all nuances of medical science, distinguished among their colleagues, and comparable to Plato and Aristotle of their age, among the elite of all physicians, and appointed as a professor with a level akin to Jesus. As you can see, we all know the Prophet Isa alayhi salam as a healer. So they were also telling in the Vakfiyah, they say that if professor is appointed as a chef at Süleymaniye Darul Shifa, they should be very successful, like Prophet Isa alayhi salam, Isa alayhi salam, to be healer, to best healer. So they were describing the features of the professors like a best one. They were expecting them to be best professors. When we look at the expected features of the students, they say that they should to be admitted to medical school. They should willing learn the science of the medicine, knowledgeable about health reasoning, and they should be eager and devout believers with good character who will engage diligently as students in medical school, and they must work diligently to fullest extent in the teaching of this science as well. Each of these qualifications are written one by one in the Vakfiyah, and they should follow these features in order to be a student at Süleymaniye Medical School to serve as a physician at Süleymaniye Darul Shifa as well. When we look at the prominent physicians and the scholars at Süleymaniye Darul Shifa, there were many of them, by the way. I just took the three of them, which were very prominent when we look at the Ottoman medicine, history of the Ottoman medicine. The first one is Ayashli Hekim Şaban Şifai. He is the first pediatrician in Ottoman Empire. He is also very good poet, by the way. And he is Reisul Etibba. We say head physician as a minister of health. And Ömer Efendi was his teacher at Süleymaniye Madrasa between 1719 and 1720. Şahnizade, who you can see his picture on the screen, Şahnizade Mehmet Ataullah Efendi. He is also polymath of his era. He excelled as a physician, writer, musician, and historian. And Miyarul Atibba, which is the measure of physicians, is a Turkish translation based on the Italian works of Anton Baron von Storch and Bartolome Battisti. As I said in the beginning, Şahnizade Mehmet Ataullah Efendi served after the Tanzimat Edict. That's why there were translations from Western books to the Turkish language as well. I mean, they were not only teaching the Arabic books or the books in Turkey, they were also translating the very well-known books from the Western or any other parts of the world to serve at best level to their patients as well. And one of the other books is called Kanun el-Cerrahin, The Law of Surgeons, Istilahat-ı Etibba, Medical Terminology, Müfredat-ı Eczayi Tıbbiye, Simple Medicines, Mürekkebat-ı Eczayi Tıbbiye, Compound Medicines, Ahvalü Tabiye, Natural States, which are the several books of Şahnizade Mehmet Ataullah Efendi. I want to introduce you to Gevrekzade Hafız Hasan Efendi. This is the last representative of the traditional Ottoman medicine. He really has many books, by the way, but I will introduce you just three of them today. One of them is the Neticetul Fikriye fi Veladetil Bikriye. In this manuscript, he detailed his treatment of young men, I mean the children afflicted with epilepsy, which is very well known in Turkey, the history of medicine in Turkey. And Aslul Usul fi Tercemetil Faslil Fusul lil İlaki, which is another document of Gevrekszade Hafız Hasan Efendi, which encompasses general medical knowledge. And the last manuscript of Gevrekszade Hafız Hasan Efendi, which is one of the very important ones, Er-Risaletul Musikiye Minet Devai Ruhaniye, in which he explores the therapeutic aspects of music, spiritual illness to spiritual medicine, he says. And his teachers were Hekimbaşı Katipzade Mehmet Refi and Mehmet Emin and Mustafa Efendi as well, who are translated Ibn Sina's renowned work Canon of the Medicine into Turkish. So he really got education from the uh, prominent physicians as well. And uh, he says that the spiritual illnesses can be treated with the spiritual medicine, such as music, which is one of the distinct features of Gevrekszade Hafız Hasan Efendi. And he explains this in his manuscript, Er-Risaletul Musikiye Minet Devai Ruhaniye, as I said in the beginning, which is the original page of this Risale, as you can see on the screen, Gevrekzade's Risale. In this Risale, in the first two sections of this treatise, he categorizes types of souls and discusses effects of the music on these different types of souls. What sets him apart from his contemporaries is his approach of recommending that people listen to music according to their temperaments, and he emphasizes that music no longer affects if people eat excessively, which is also uh, shows the holistic approach of Gevrekszade Hafız Hasan Efendi. And he quotes one of the Al-Urmavi's very known words, says that musical tones increase the metaphorical law, listening to them, and moods activate the divine law. Lovers and wise people desire music because of that. I mean, it increases the lover's love, but it increases the sinner's sin. So it depends the way you interact with the music, which is very crucial. And it is not only because of the music, it's because of the your way of interacting with the music, which may cause haram. And you know, the Ghazali and many different scholars also have opinion about the this issue. I will not discuss about this issue, but when we look at the Gevrekzade's treatise, he also discussed about the issue, and he says that the music itself is not harmful. The way we interact with the music is harmful, so we have to be careful the way we interact. If we interact according to our temperaments, to balance our spiritual level, psychological level, social level, and then music can serve as a spiritual treatment as well, he says. He also classified the different Turkish makams according to the different days of time, different horoscopes, different temperaments, and then he gave prescriptions for different psychological illnesses to listen different makams based on this idea. In the context of also Plato's humoral theory, music with its rhythmic elements, balancing our physiology and regulate our blood flow, and it serves as a means to provide psychological relaxation, describing it as a spiritual pleasure tool. He also has psychosomatic plus spiritual approach, because says that spiritual illnesses must be cured spiritual music, plus the rhythmic nature of music has something physically affecting our body, which is also the psychosomatic connection of music therapy in his treatise as well. So I want to end my presentation here. I really would like to discuss more about that, but this is the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening me. If you have any further inquiries, please contact with me on Instagram, on my website, on my email, however you want. Thank you for listening me.
Jazakallah khairan, dear Dr. Ayse. Thank you so much for this excellent lecture. Rounds of digital applause and even physical applause to our dear Ustada Dr. Ayse. Thank you so much. With your permission, Dr. Ayse, if you can just stop sharing your screen and we will start with the Q&A, inshallah. Just there. All right. All right. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Round of digital applause to our excellent Ustada Dr. Ayse for this amazing lecture and allowing us to learn from the Ottoman tradition when it came to mental health services, when it came to giving holistic health to their citizens and to all fellow Muslims and human beings within the empire. Also to learn from this holistic approach of dealing with health and all the services that these beautiful Darul Shifas and Maristans and Bimaristan and Bimarhane in Turkish as well, that was established both in Istanbul and Süleymaniye, but also all around Anatolia and the Ottoman Empire and beyond. And so we have so much to learn from this sacred tradition. And Dr. Ayse, I think also one of the reflections that I have, and I'm sure many of our beloved brothers and sisters who joined this excellent lecture have, compared to the modern hospitals where you get sick when you go to them, like every time you go to the hospital because of this very minimalistic and Spartan interior design and also lack of holistic approach towards health and healing and very stressful environment. You almost get more sick when you come out. And we have one of our colleagues in ISIP and our Shifa Institute, Sister Jenny, who has done her whole bachelor's in redesigning the interior of the modern hospital as a way to bring people into health and healing. And she actually saw that it was substantial changes when you just had a different interior design that was much warmer when you entered emergency section of the hospital. And this is related also to the interior design of these beautiful, Darul Shifas throughout the Ottoman Empire and beyond. And I wanted to ask you as a first question, in your research and in your studies of, for instance, the Darul Shifa and Suleymaniye, but generally, what did you find with regards to the architecture and how did they use architecture, both external and interior, and with that also the way that they built the gardens connected to the Daru Shifa as a way to bring patients into a path towards healing? Is there any interesting like reflections you have done while studying this topic? And
Well, there are actually many architectural features of Dar al-Shifa, but due to the time constriction, I didn't share all of them. They used the finest marbles, they used the gardens. There were, we call teriyak in Turkish. The special pastes the doctors do by themselves for each clients based on their temperaments. They also uses different music makams at the different dates, different times of day uh, within the Shifahane. They have also two main areas. Uh, the psychiatric residents are apart from the other patients, and also they have also special, how can I say, marbles. Let me share some of the maybe pictures. Is it okay for me
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah,
share?
of course. Go ahead. Yeah, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Feel
I
free.
want to share some of the pictures with you. The bracelets, the metal bracelets they use, and all other things, stones and many things. Just a second.
In
Sorry
the
for that.
meanwhile, dear brothers and sisters, feel free to ask your questions in the chat. I will address them to Dr. Ayse. There's a lot of question with regards to more literature. Also, there are some questions with regards to methodologies, whether it's Yeah, we'll take them step by step, brothers and sisters. We'll
Mhm.
start by looking at these pictures, inshallah. We're excited.
Yeah. Can you see the pictures? As you can see,
Yeah, yeah, we see it.
this is the entrance door of Tabhane, which is next to the Darul Shifa, which is also used by Diyanet today, the one
Mashallah.
of the institutions in Turkey. As you can see, there are the finest marbles, which are brought from the Marmara Island, the finest marble in Turkey. And you know, these also green stones are specific. They are also used in Ayasofya as well. You can see in Ayasofya as well. And also these structures, mukarnas, you can see in Andalusia, in Cordoba, in let's say Muslim architecture, characteristic of Muslim architecture. They also different types of windows. I want to show you that as well. Let me show it. Um, they use the specific flowers. Mhm. I think this one. Let me show it. I wish I could have more. This is, I should turn it. You can see this is the, how can I say, the stones, marble stones. They
Mashallah.
are, they're actually historicals, but the metal bracelets they use, as you can see, all the, inner gardens are green. There were water fountains, which are called, we call şadırvan in Turkish. Water fountains. They also use the sound of water, plus they also use water as a refreshing air and relaxing environment inside of the garden as well. So each of the architectural feature of the Dar al Shifa is taught detailed version. So I want you to come and visit Turkey and
Inshallah.
show you in real actually.
Inshallah. It will be lovely. I actually was there this summer and I really enjoyed it. It's so beautiful. So, inshallah, with your permission, Dr. Aisha, I was just writing in the chat that with Dr. Aisha and ISIP Turkey chapter, we can do guided tours, inshallah. So, I just shared our email. So, dear brothers and sisters, if you're interested in guiding tours with our Ustada, Dr. Aisha, and the ISIP Turkey chapter members, then please email us and we will do something, maybe this summer, inshallah. Amazing, amazing. Thank you. And I'm just so impressed by the holistic approach that the Ottomans and also the Abbasids and even the Umayyads and many other, Islamic, dynasties and civilizations and leaders had towards health and healing, of course, from an Islamic paradigm. There's a lot of questions here, Dr. Aisha. We'll go through most of them. We have time. Sister Silma from Australia, Assalamu alaikum, sister. She's writing, love the facilities that were established for the community in traditional Ottoman times. So she just comes with some reflections. Thank you, Sister Silma. An honor to have you with us. There is a question from Abir. Can you please share the Darul Shifa page? Does this page have any, does this, I shared some resources in it. Does it have any website, this Darul Shifa, the
Uh,
Suleymaniye?
they don't have as a website, but I think they have something about Süleymaniye bath, Süleymaniye hamam.
Okay.
This is just for make reservation. As I said in the beginning, you can go to Süleymaniye Hamam or bath, and you can enjoy the hammam as well. But
MashaAllah.
for Süleymaniye Dar Al Shifa, they don't have website. And when they open the Süleymaniye Dar Al Shifa, they will use it as a little medical center, not like a big hospital, but they will also use it as a little medical center. I think around February, something like that. They were planning to open it on December 2024, but they couldn't. I think they will open on February or March. It will be open, inshallah, on summer.
Inshallah. Then inshallah we are able to visit. Thank you so much for that information, Dr. Aisha. Sister Anastasia, one of our amazing colleagues in ISIP. Thank you, Sister Anastasia, for your khidmah with our Palestine group as well. She's writing, is there a book we can begin with to understand the temperaments that Dr. Aisha can recommend? Any books on the humor theory that you
Well,
recommend?
not basically about the humor theory, because when they want to learn the humor theory, they can read the Plato's books.
Yeah.
But when we look at the relationship between the humor theory and music therapy, I recommend the Gevrekzade Hafız Hasan Efendi's manuscript and Haşim Bey Mecmuası, we say in Turkish. Unfortunately, they are all in Turkish.
Mm.
Plus, I have my PhD thesis.
Okay.
I'm gonna translate it into English, inshallah, very soon.
Inshallah.
Uh,
Inshallah.
and also they can read the Dr. Ranya's resources as well, because they also work on the
Yeah.
Maristans as well at Stanford Muslim Mental Health Lab, as you all know. So
Yes,
you
yes.
can follow her studies. They are
Yeah.
already written in English language. They can learn from there.
Thank you so much. So we're looking forward to read your PhD in English, inshallah. We will release it through ISIP channels. So that will be an honor, Dr. Aisha. And also for everybody, Dr. Rania Wad, of course, we all know her, one of the leading scholars in Islamic psychology and Muslim mental health. She has just, hello? Hello? Something happened with my computer. She had just released, together with some other colleagues, through the Routledge book series of in Islamic psychology that Professor Hussein Rasool is actually editing, one of the leading scholars in Islamic psychology as well. So we appreciate Professor Rasool's and Dr. Rani's amazing work. So they have published the Maristan book, with a lot of different chapters. I know that Dr. Aisha has one chapter written there. So please check that, and there you can see more about Dr. Aisha's chapter with regards to leymaniye, Darul Shifa, etc. We will definitely share the
On
link
the
in the
second
book.
book, sorry for interrupting you.
Oh,
The
no
first
problem.
book, we wrote Edirne Beyazıt Şifahane. I didn't write that. On the second book, the Süleymaniye Daral Shifa is gonna be published, but it has not published yet.
Oh, okay, inshallah. As soon as it's
It will
published,
be.
we'll share, dear sisters and brothers, inshallah. So just continue joining our groups, our WhatsApp groups, newsletter. We will share, inshallah. Thank you, Sister Dr. Aisha, for your excellent feedback. Muntahar is asking, Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for this talk. I once heard about mental health centers in Edirne and how music was used as a therapy there. Could you please speak a little bit more about that briefly?
Well, as I said in the beginning, in Edirne Şifahane, they were using music as a therapy, and they also continued to use it, Süleymaniye Daral Şifa as well. Um, Actually, there are different Turkish makams, like modes, like minor modes and major modes in Western music, let's say. And each makam has a different vocal structure. So they have different prescriptions for each days, and the people who are professionally playing music were invited to Dar al Shifas weekly. They were coming to Dar al Shifa in the inner garden or inside of the clinic. They were playing the music with different makams. Plus, they were using also the sound of water as well. And then the patients were listening the music. They were also listening the voice of the sound. Plus, there were one person who is called Buhurdan. We say Buhurdan. Maybe the ones who is responsible to make beautiful odors,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
which are made for the flowers,
Yeah,
for the patients, which
yeah.
is also related with the makam they use. They are all connected with each other. For example, if they use the Rast makam, they use different voice of sound, plus they use different odor. For example, the odor of the rose is the center of the odors. They use the Rast makam as Ummul makamat, which is the center makam, which is the entrance of the music therapy. And then they continue according to the some vocal, let's say, rules. They use different makams, and then they finish it, and they want clients to be relaxed, plus to treat their, let's say, spiritual ailments as well, with the good
MashaAllah.
voice, good odors, good environment, and everything.
Amazing. Sounds amazing. Like just to have this holistic approach, speaking to all senses, as part of your healing journey. It's so, Turkish and Farsi is so close. I speak Farsi, so you said bukhur, bukhur bad.
Buhurdan.
Bukhur dad. It's like give, dad means giving in Farsi. Bukhur, of course, it's from Arabic. It's so beautiful. The also the interculture, cross-culture approach that the Ottomans they took like from other traditions and Islamicized it in a sense and brought it, in the, of course, aligning it with Quran and Sunnah. But it's so beautiful to see this curiosity indeed. Thank you so much. So we have more questions here. Sister Kubra is asking, yeah, there are a lot of questions with regards to this. First and foremost, which musical instruments are allowed to learn? Is music therapy halal or haram? There's some of these questions. Obviously, uh, I don't want to put you like in a spot because you're here as a scholar speaking about the Ottoman tradition and how they utilize different approaches to health and healing. And I think for all of you brothers and sisters, I'm not a faqih. I don't know, Dr. Aisha, maybe you're a faqih, but generally this is things you can ask the faqih and the fuqaha. This is an academical lecture about the research that Dr. Aisha has done with regards to the methodologies that was used therapeutically in the Ottoman Darul Shifas. So this is an academical speaking about what they have done. And if you guys want a fiqh verdict, then I'm sure you guys should speak with your shuyukh, your teachers, the fuqaha. I know in certain areas there is adab al-ikhtilaf and differences of opinion. In certain areas it's consensus, whether which instruments are permissible or not. But we tend to let the fuqaha answer this. Nevertheless, would you like to share anything from your point of view with regards to this question, Dr. Aisha?
Well, I actually shared the historical applications of music therapy. And in Ottoman Empire, anything they do and medical madrasa or shifahane or anywhere else, they cannot do without the permission of the emperor. So there were also the Qadi and Sheikhul Islam, who is responsible for the fuqaha, I mean, for these things, halal or haram. If these things, I mean, if they said that this would be haram, the emperor would not allow them to do. I would not say haram or halal. I am not responsible. I am not the one who can say this is halal or haram. But I am pretty sure that they did everything with the permission of the emperor, who also consult with the Sheikhul Islam and the Qadiya at that time. So I don't know this debate. You can also, search all the sources, but the system goes like that in Ottoman Empire. I mean, they cannot do anything without the permission of emperors. Otherwise, they will be killed. So it will
Yeah.
not be possible. It wouldn't be possible. But for today, in our hospitals, some of our hospitals use, but the one they apply like music medicine. Music medicine is different from music therapy because the music therapy, Al-Farabi says, also the Gevrekzade Hafız Hasan Efendi says, has really spiritual part as well. It is not only listening to sounds. As you can see that as long as you eat excessively, it will not affect you. So it is also connected with the Sunnah and also the connected with the ethical part of Islam. I mean, in Islamic psychology, we also have that holistic approach, the ethical part, logistical part, and
Yeah.
also, the Sharia part. They are all connected with each other holistically. So the health approach also is holistically connected. So they are not different or apart from each other. For further inquiry, they can contact with me and I can suggest them some sources that I know, but I have to declare that I am not faqih. So
Yeah.
I can share the resources with them.
Inshallah, Jazakallah khairan, Dr. Aisha, for your very clear and mindful answer. We really appreciate it. And I definitely think that it's important to reflect upon these questions with those that are knowledgeable, dear brothers and sisters. We try to have a curious inquiry of our tradition and history and to learn academically then how we apply things. It's like speaking about Islamic psychology, dear brothers and sisters. There are different approaches in Islamic psychology. There's not one way of applying Islamic psychology. Different scholars have different methodology, both in our tradition and even in the contemporary era. As ISIP, the International Student of Islamic Psychology, we always want to adhere to Quran and Sunnah as Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Definitely, that is our intention. Nevertheless, we also want to show the multiplexity. When unity comes in Tawheed and Quran and Sunnah, there is multiplexity, which the Ottoman Empire embodied in such a beautiful way, of different ways. So if we look at from the fiqh even point of view, I'm speaking beyond, I'm not an expert when it comes to music. I cannot say anything. We'll ask the fuqaha for guidance. But when it comes to specifically the Ottomans having different courts for the different madahibs, so the Hanafis had their own courts, and the Shafi had their own courts, and the Hanbalis, etc. Even the non-Muslims, the Christians and Jews have their own courts. This was the beauty of this diversity with unity in Quran and Sunnah that the Ottoman Empire embodied. And I recommend you guys to read the works of Dr. Recep Şentürk because he's one of the leading scholars when it comes to Ottoman history and multiplexity. So a lot of the things I'm saying, I'm referring to his amazing work. And there is the culture curiosity. And by the way, I'm going to do a lecture soon, brothers and sisters, about culture curiosity in Islamic psychology. I think we should be curious, but of course, always the benchmark and Quran is Sunnah. We should never go astray, but even there's multiplexity in application. That's why we have four madhab of Ahl Sunnah as an example of the application of the multiplexity. And these four madhab are all accepted by majority of the Sunni Muslims, at least. And finally, I want to add to this, dear brothers and sisters, that academically we need to even reflect upon people's approaches that we do not agree and that even contradicts. If we're studying Western psychology, and mainstream psychology and secular psychology, then we need to also reflect upon even some approaches in our tradition that might not be aligned to Quran and Sunnah. Allahu alam. I'm not here to say anything because I'm not an expert, but curiosity is to even because, as the Prophet ﷺ said, there is wisdom, right? Wisdom is the lost property of the believer. Wherever he finds it, you can use it, right? So even the traditional scholars, they studied Greek thought. Not that they agreed with everything, because a lot of the Greeks were pagans, but they saw some corn of truth and they Islamicized that. So for instance, the notion of golden mean, which is part of the akhlaq tradition of Islam, was Islamicized by Imam Ghazali, Ibn Miskawayh, and other scholars because they read it and they saw, wait, this is quite close to the prophetic statement on moderation and wasatiyah and mizan. So they Islamicized it. And even Imam Ghazali has specific views when it comes to sama. But then we know that other scholars like Ibn al-Qayyim has other views. And we should respect these great traditional scholars, listen and learn, and then consult with your own, with the fuqaha that are trained in, legitimate, schools and, have ijazas and stuff. And there's many great shuyukh. And then you will adjust that to how you feel you want to apply. Of course, we always recommend you to speak with the fuqaha and always to do things aligned with Quran and Sunnah. And in this work of Ibn Miskawayh, Imam Ghazali even says there are certain things that we shouldn't adhere with the notions from the Greeks because we can go astray. But he was okay with ethical philosophy and to utilize it because he saw it as congruent as long as it's Islamicized and filtered in a sense, right? So just have this in mind, dear brothers and sisters, and then we let the other discussion go to the scholars that are trained in fiqh, for instance, and we listen and learn from them, inshallah. Jazakallah khairan, Dr. Aisha. Let's go to the next questions, inshallah. Yes, here's a question with regards to yeah, so A Siddiq is asking, what is your view, Dr. Aisha? Is there any history for such examples of sound and gong baths currently being used for health and healing? I guess he's asking for sound therapy and using water, sound, and different sounds and healing from this holistic approach that was in the Darul Shifa, which is very interesting with sound and water. Any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I have already shared that the traditional approach for the music therapy, they already use the sound of water as well. Plus, how can I say? They also accompany by the others. I mean, different senses as well. So they already use it at Darul Shifas, which is really strong. I mean, at my clinic, I use the odors and music. I mean, not like in the session, but in the waiting room, I use also music, like low tone or different sounds. It is really effective. Makes people
MashaAllah.
relaxed, blah blah. So you can use it.
Yeah,
The
I
music is
actually
used in yeah.
it's amazing. I use actually water in my clinical practice as well. I have like water fountains, and it's really very healing, and it gives you the soothing of peace, because water is like a symbol of life. In a sense, our first 9 months, we were in water in our mom's wombs. We're surrounded by water. So it's almost reconnecting with fitra in a sense. And I know that a lot of the traditional scholars was using this metaphors of being in the womb of your mother, the first 9 months you're in water. And if you look at children, dear brothers and sisters, it's amazing. I'm sure, Dr. Aisha, you have children, so you know, and I also have a daughter. When you see like um, a child that is born, here in Sweden, we take them to swimming, something that baby swim, they call it. I remember I was swimming with my daughter underwater. She was like 1 or 2 months. She was watching clearly. She was like a fish in the water. SubhanAllah. I'm sure all of you who are brothers have children, dear brothers and sisters, you guys can resonate with this or relate. So it's kind of like bringing the essence of reconnecting with fitra through water, through different,
Yeah.
smells and bukhur and odor. Or I'm just thinking about Dr. Aisha, Fariduddin al-Attar, the great Persian poet and scholar. He was a perfume creator and then he became a poet as well. So he was connecting his poetry to perfume, which is amazing. So Alhamdulillah, this is amazing. So hopefully we can learn and practice this holistic approach, inshallah. Brother Amir is writing, Dr. Aisha, could you please let us know about the different types of spirit, soul, arwah, and which type of sounds and music would fit with which type of soul?
Mhm. Well, actually, in Gevrekzade Hafız Hasan Efendi's book, they use souls interchangeably with the temperaments. You can see in most of the Islamic philosophy resources, they use, nefs and ruh interchangeably sometimes. In his book, Gevrekzade uses soul interchangeably with the temperament. I mean, soul means temperament. So when we look at the Plato's humoral theory, they use the four types of Plato's approach, as we all know, sanguine, the melancholia, and all four types of temperaments. And then they described, for example, the sanguines should listen the rast makam, for example. It is good for them. Plus, they also distributed the different makams to be listened from the nationalities and for the I mean temperament and the geographical conditions of the people they live in as well. For example, in Eastern or in, let's say, Arab lands, they say that it is better for them to listen Hijaz makam, and they already have Hijaz makam with themselves. So they have different classifications based on the temperaments and the physical characteristics of the people, as I can say briefly, in Gevrekzade's manuscript.
Wow. If you can share those resources. So, dear brothers and sisters, Sister Tri and Sister Nadira, if you guys can share the registration form. For all of you who have not registered for the lecture with Dr. Aisha today, if you register, we will share all these resources through the email with you guys. So, if Sister Tri, if you can share the resource for how to register for the lecture, we will share because all these books, resources, we would love to benefit from it. It's just so amazing how mindful they were of understanding a person's contextual background. And I know that in Unani Tib, which is the Greek Islamic medicine, they all, when it came to diet, they always spoke that eat like resources from your own land, which is grown in your soil, and that it should be also connected to your disposition when it comes to mizaj and your humor. So it's the food, it's everything, the sound, everything should be contextualized to you as an individual as well. This is amazing, Dr. Aisha. Thank you so much for sharing. Let's see here. Sister Shahida is writing, are the hammams used to facilitate mental healing and how, if so?
Well, it's not only facilitate health healing. I mean, they already serve as a healing centers. Still in Turkey, we use hammams for healing centers. For example, my mom and the old ones regularly go to hammams to have like 10 days hammams cures for their like, rheumatoid arthritis and different physical illnesses. And they are not only using for mental health patients, but in Ottoman Shifahanes or Darul Shifas, wherever you go, in Kayseri, Edirne, Bursa, Istanbul, wherever you go, you will see the hammams in the Darul Shifas. Because this is kind of tradition in Darul Shifas, the hammam is integrated in the holistic treatment system. So it's not only designed for the mental health patients, it is designed for the patients. And also the Süleymaniye Darul Shifa is not only designed for the mentally ill patients at first. Later, it only becomes a psychiatric care center by the historical developments. So they also use it for the mentally ill patients as well. Plus, they were using for also cleaning the patients as well. Because when you think about the 16th century, people do not have shower in their houses, or in the hospitals they don't have the shower in their rooms. So they were using these public hammams, and each Dar al Shifa has its own hammams. And there were also people like Deluxe and others. I mean, they were cleaning people, they were shaving their hairs, they were helping them, like the mentors were responsible to care all of the needs of the patients, which is integrated within the Darul Shifas.
MashaAllah. It's almost like I want to go back 400 or 500 years and just put myself there now. Alhamdulillah. Because here, when you go to the hospital, you get sick. I don't know about Turkey, by the way, but here in Sweden for sure. May Allah allow us to always be in a state of shifa and not needed to go to these facilities. But it's amazing to hear how much ihsan they put in this whole journey towards bringing people to health. Thank you, Dr. Aisha. Sister Hasibi is writing, what are the most important or interesting aspect of psychological treatments of illnesses, and what were used then, and what do we lack now?
Well, the holistic approach is one of the distinct features because, in modern psychology, we usually focus on the pathological side of our patients. When we look at schema therapy, the perspective little bit changed. Like we said that these are distort schemas. We can, the reestablish them and you can continue your life. But when we just only focus on the problematic sides or the, let's say, the problematic side of our patients, it lacks. And plus, they also provide services ethically
Mm.
good for their patients as well because they were like social modeling to their patients as well. They were like shaving them, cleaning them. They had specific mentors. Each patient has their own specific mentor. Which one of the psychiatric hospitals has a specific personal mentor for each patient? I don't think so. And we usually give them pills or we usually focus on their pathological side. So we don't focus on their character developments, which positive psychology says that we also have to we also have to provide services for our clients to be ethically good people, to have virtues,
Yeah,
not to be sick as well. So this is one of the lack of the modern psychology because, for example, my client said that I'm okay, I feel good. But when I look at her or his relationships, he or she becomes alone. They said, my personal borders, I don't want to hear this, this is that. So when we lose the social bonds for the sake of social boundaries,
yeah,
so we lack this in modern science, and which is one of the distinct features of the personalized approach
yeah.
of Ottoman medicine, I would say.
MashaAllah. You're so right. It's tailored, it's personalized, it's both collective and individualized, it's human, and it's heart-centric, which is all uh, crucial elements of bringing people into the state of health. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to revive these notions, inshallah. Thank you so much, Dr. Aisha. There are two, three more questions, and then we will finalize. I know we're almost over time now. We have Sister Shemanur. She is asking, could you share more information about how art therapy was understood and practiced in the context of mental health within the Islamic tradition and the mindset of that time?
Well, actually, it's not like separated as art therapy. In the classical arts, in Ottoman era as well, there were mesh system. For example, if you are doing calligraphy, you cannot do calligraphy by your own self. I mean, you have to go to your teacher, you have to learn from him, and when you get ijaza, meaning that you are completed, that you can do calligraphy by yourself, even when you have the ijaza, I mean, if you are, let's say, good at calligraphy, you will not signing by your name. You are signing with your teacher's name. When
MashaAllah.
you die, you can, I mean, your students will write your name. So
Yeah,
this is not egocentric art.
yeah.
So within the art system, this is already therapeutic and
Mm.
heart-centered, not egocentric. So the Dar al Shifas or any other complexes, they were using the artistic part in any part of the complexes. The entrance doors, the calligraphies, the marble arts, teshib, we say Ebru in Turkish, like the, how can I say? Do you know the English version of
Yeah,
Ebru?
Ebru is marveling, isn't it?
Yeah,
Marbling is
marbling. Yeah, you
yeah,
know, on the water you have the the colors, and then you see on the walls. So each of the classical art has its own mesh system. We say mesh system. In music, we also have that mesh system. You have to go to the one teacher for a period of time. We don't know. He will say that you are okay now. Okay, you are done. But even if your teacher says that you are done, you are not done. You will be done when you die. So this is the classical art in Ottoman era. This is not like art therapy is not like separated from the therapeutic side, but art is also within the also integrated in the holistic approach as well. They were also teaching the patients if they want to learn arts, but this is also how can I say? It's not like separated. Today, our colonized minds are tentative to think separately everything, but the therapy, are they are not separated. They were together. This is also the projection of Tawheed also
yeah.
in that time.
MashaAllah. So
Unity.
beautiful. Thank you for explaining such an excellent way, Dr. Aisha. And we really agree with you. Like, I think part of secularization is to divide sciences. So you have secular sciences, liberal arts, and religious sciences. Even in Islamic countries, it's the same. This secularization has feeded our brain into a very reductionistic and minimalistic way of looking at health or healing or therapy. Like arts was therapy without saying arts therapy historically, for instance, or whatever and religious sciences was to study chemistry and biography or biology, and at the same time, do it from the lens of understanding Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's creation. So this is a great reminder. By the way, brothers and sisters, you guys are most welcome to join. So the ISIP, the International Students of Islamic Psychology, we're establishing an initiative called the Amalu Jamal Academy of Sacred Arts, where we're going to connect sacred arts like calligraphy, nasheeds, poetry, marveling, with health and healing in Islamic psychology. And we chose Amalu Jamal as the name of the Sacred Arts Academy. Amalu Jamal, the beautiful actions, the beautiful acts. So if you're interested, please email us. If you're somebody who practices sacred arts, you're interested in the connection with health healing and Islamic psychology, contact at isip.foundation. Sister 3, if you can share that link in the chat, we will really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Dr. Aisha. We have a couple of more questions here. Let's see here. Um, Sister Tal is asking, is there a book on maqams and their impact or purpose?
Yes, there is. Al-Farabi already classified the effects of the makam in his treatises. Apart from Farabi's treatises, I have PhD thesis, and
MashaAllah.
there are some articles on that, which shows the Farabi's classification on the effects of the makams on our psychology. You can access, there are many of them.
MashaAllah. So inshallah, brothers and sisters, please register for this lecture today. We will share Dr. Aisha's contact details. If we're allowed, we will also share your presentation slides and also her thesis in Turkish, and then inshallah use Google Translate to translate. If not, we will inshallah enjoy the translation in English soon, inshallah. And Al-Farabi's works as well is very easy accessible in online, and also I think we have a lot of articles in ISIP's digital library that you can access as well. All right, this will be our final two questions, inshallah. Sister Shahida is asking, is it possible to get an audio video that maintains patient confidentiality where we can hear the holistic approach? I don't know about that, to be quite honest, sister. That's a great request. What do you think, Dr. Aisha? Is there any? I don't think so. I'm answering for Dr. Aisha, but I don't know. Maybe there is.
Could you repeat? I have just seen the
Essentially,
message.
is it possible to get an audio video that maintains patient's confidentiality where we can hear the holistic approach? Is there like videos that we can see about this Ottoman approach?
Well, there were, Professor Dr. Oruç Güvenç, he already have some CDs on music therapy sessions, whole music therapy sessions, not like a video of that, but I think some part of that on YouTube, you can find his videos, my professor's videos. He uses the traditional music therapy model, the sound of the voice and the makams, and he, by the way, plays himself. He starts with the ney and then the kopuz, and then he uses all the natural instruments. You can access on YouTube. If you write Tumata, I have to write Tumata. I write now
Okay.
on chat.
Inshallah, inshallah, please do, and we will share it in the email as well,
Yeah.
inshallah, inshallah. All right, this is the last question, and then we will let you go. We're so sorry for taking out of your time. By the way, brothers and sisters, Dr. Aisha has been a little bit sick, and she still joined us today, even though we didn't notice that you were sick at all. So may Allah give you shifa, inshallah. The last, and thank you for giving out of your precious time, Dr. Aisha. We're so honored to learn from you. This was an amazing presentation. Brother Emilio is writing, mashallah. Hola, hermano Emilio, ¿cómo estás? What sort of mental conditions are indicated for each of these maqams? Rast, Husseini, Ushak, Nihawend.
Mhm. Well, for each makams, they have different illnesses. However, the Rast makam, like entrance of the prescription, they say Ummul Makamat for Rast. This is the base for all makams. When you go to classical music theory in Turkish, you will see that Rast is the base of everything. And each makams, like, the Ushak comes after Rast. And then when you just go to the another mode, you will see the Sega, and then it will goes like this. And the Nihavend also the another version of the Buselik. So you will see that they are all connected. I wish we could have more time to introduce you the Turkish makam system. They are all connected with each other. That's why they use Rast as a Ummul Makamat, which is the entrance of the all makams. Plus, for example, for one of my professors were using was using one of his clients who were in coma. We say coma. You say coma, right?
Koma, koma.
It's like how can I say? The patient
A
resides
coma.
in yeah, special in coma.
Yeah, coma, coma. Yes, coma. It's like coma. Yeah, when
Yeah,
a
it's a
person's in
coma.
coma, they're not
Uh,
conscious.
yeah, they're not conscious. He was prescribing to let him to listen, for example, 10 days the music in Rast Makam without words, by the way. In music therapy sessions, we don't use the songs with the words, without words. And then after the Rast Makam, he was using the Ushak Makam. And then, for example, if he has like inflammatory reaction or something like that, he were prescribing Hijaz Makam. So it depends on which ailment the client is applying. So they have specialized prescriptions for each client as well. But we,
Jazakallah
of course,
khair.
we can discuss about them. I mean,
MashaAllah, MashaAllah.
reliability can be discussed
Yeah,
because
yeah.
everything's like different. Okay, scientific based. Okay, I agree with that. We can discuss on that, but they have specific prescriptions.
And we appreciate you sharing your deep knowledge and expertise and research. And by the way, brothers and sisters, you all are most welcome to learn and do research, and then you decide what you want to apply. Do the things that you feel comfortable with. We're just academically discovering the tradition, and we're not here to promote one approach over the other. And we always tell everybody to be mindful that what you do is something that should be aligned with your ways of both training, studying, and also the nasiyah that you get from your teachers in the shuyukh seekers of knowledge, we're curious and we try to understand, and then we apply. Of course, our Furqan and benchmark is always Quran and Sunnah. I want to thank you, Dr. Aisha, for this amazing lecture. A round of digital applause and physical applause to our dear Ustada. Your research is very important and very profound and allow us to deepen our knowledge of how holistic our predecessor has been, our forefather, sorry, how holistic our forefathers has been in health. And this holistic approach is needed in this day and age. We as ISIP, we're advocates of holistic approaches grounded in and aligned with Quran and Sunnah. And we believe that there is so much wisdom we can take from other traditions, such as homeopathy, naturopathy, but also from our own tradition. And what you have shared with us is the gems from the Ottoman tradition of how they established the Sulaymaniye, the Darul Shifas. There's so much wisdom there in this holistic approach, speaking to all of our senses when it comes to our journey towards health and healing. So, a round of applause to our dear Ustada, who is one of the leading scholars in this field. We're very honored to learn from you. and to benefit from your amazing research. And we hope to collaborate with you more lectures in English, inshallah. With regards to your PhD, we ask Allah to give you tawfiq so you can translate it to English. We know that in Turkey there is so many great scholars in Islamic psychology, and we have honored to invite Dr. Aisha, Professor Suleiman Darin, Dr. Zuhal, Dr. Taha Toprak, Dr. Mustafa Merta, many other great scholars, and we are very proud followers of what's happening in Turkey as one of the leading countries in Islamic psychology, and the Ottomans being one of the leading civilizations in the development of Islamic psychology and Muslim mental health, as seen in the Sulaymaniyya Darul Shifa. So thank you so much, Dr. Aisha. I want to thank all of you, dear brothers and sisters, for joining us today. All of your questions, all of your reflections has been very interesting, and we learned so much from all of your thoughts, your expertise, and your questions. And continue to discuss in our WhatsApp groups. Join them, email us if you have any questions. If you want to join our Arts Academy, our research center, email us. I also want to thank Sister Nadira, Sister Tree, Sister Fatima, Sister Dania, Sister Mediha, and rest of our team of the International Lecture Series and the International Movement of Islamic ISIP for all the amazing work you guys are doing with this International Lecture Series. Register yourself so that you can access all the resources that Dr. Aisha provided for us, plus her contact details, plus her slides, plus the details to all these scholars of our tradition and where you can buy the books. And just stay tuned for the Maristan book that will be published on Routledge soon, that has been edited by Dr. Rania and her team, and where Dr. Aisha is contributing one chapter with regards to her work. And we thank Routledge, we thank Professor Rasul, and we thank Dr. Rania for this amazing work. And last but not least, Dr. Aisha, would you like to share any last thoughts before we end the session, inshallah?
It was really fruitful meeting for me to have this presentation with you. It's such an honor to present here. So thank you very much for inviting me and let me to meet with all of these uh, uh, amazing people from all over the world. Thank you for sharing your time with me.
Thank you so much, Dr. Aisha, for giving out your precious time. And thank you, brothers and sisters, for joining us as always. You're all doing an amazing job. We're one family, we're one ummah, and we learn from each other. And we will support the revival of Ottoman traditions of multiplexity, unity, tawheed, and how they work in this beautiful Darul Shifa so that we can build these again. And by the way, Dr. Aisha, we want to do this guided tour with you in ISIP Turkish chapter, inshallah, in the summer to the Sulaymaniyya. So email us and we will
Mhm.
send requests to Dr. Aisha so she can guide us with her amazing expertise. Thank you so much, Dr. Aisha. Extend our greetings to your family and loved ones, and may Allah give you shifa. It's such an honor to learn from you. We're really honored to be with you, inshallah. We're looking forward to work with you more. Jazakallah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam.
Brothers and sisters, we will share Dr. Aisha's slides and contact details through the email. We already shared them in the Zoom chat as well, and we will share them through the email. Register yourself so you can get access to it, inshallah.